What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we're going to be taking a look at this guy. This is the Hinderer Knives Firetac. Wow, am I impressed. This is definitely a knife that I kind of didn't look twice at. I do like Hinderer knives. I've got the Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch. I have had the Hinderer XM24. The particular version that I had was the vintage model, which is the 01 tool steel and the walnut handles and stuff. Beautiful knife, but I have recently let that knife go. So getting this was kind of a treat because I don't think I would have ever tried to buy it. This knife was sent to by my good friend, Jeremy, aka freakshow_EDC. I will have his picture right here. Go give him a follow. It will also be linked down below because really it's guys like him that keep channels like me going. He sends me all kinds of knives. This will be like the third or fourth time that he has sent me a bunch of knives like at once. And he's just an amazing guy. He also does sharpening services. Just to kind of give you an idea, I've used this and he is definitely a user as well, which we'll go over. But as you can see, the mirror edge that he put on this guy and all of his knives. So if you're looking for sharpening services, if you are not confident in sharpening some of your more expensive knives, give him a try. Go hit him up on Instagram and he'll take care of you. So why did this not really tickle my fancy? Well, because I am a Hinderer fan and I am more the XM18. Definitely 3.5 inch, not the 3 inch. That's going to be too small for me. But this 3.5 inch, I love this knife. As you can see, I put some OD green scales, bronzed out hardware. Love this knife. The reason I love this knife is because it's an American-made, overbuilt knife. That's what Hinderer is known for. These were actually designed for first responders, firefighters, things like that. That is Rick Hinderer. He was a firefighter. So this model appealed to me. I had to have one, and so it did. Then I got the XM24. Big, overbuilt, right? They're thicker blades. This is not a small knife, but way more EDC friendly for a lot of people who want to carry something well-built and American-made by a company and a man like Rick Hinderer. This one also has a thumb disc. Thumb disc for me has not been a great experience. Why? Because it's been on some Emerson designs, Emerson knives and Kershaws that were designed by Emerson. They're running on washers and whatnot, and it just didn't work for me to do the thumb flick. Definitely not the reverse flick. So I said, no, I'm not going to buy anything with a thumb disc. This puppy is a blast to reverse flick with the thumb disc. Reason being, this is also one of Rick Hinderer's knives that rides on the tri-way pivot system. Usually, you find it on the flipper. Where is that? It was here somewhere. I know the tri-way pivot system symbol was here. Aha! There it is. The tri-way pivot system. Which means just like the XM18, you can choose to have this run on bearings, on phosphor bronze washers, or the nylon washers, which you've all heard me say that I think is genius. I think is one of the most innovative things I've seen come out of a knife company. This was back in like 2017, 2018, something like that when he did this, and I thought it was genius. This one is running on bearings. All of my Hinderers that I had run on bearings, but you could choose to do either one. Watch this. The action on the Firetac is absolutely amazing. I've had this for quite a while. The action on this is good. I love the action. But the Firetac is even better. Look at that smooth, controlled close action. I gotta say, that freaking just astonished me. Whenever I first had this knife, started carrying it, I was like, wow, wow. I like that kind of action. You guys, if you've watched me for a while, you know that I like that kind of action. I'm kind of an action guy. I like fall shut. I like the fall shut control. This was a very good representation of the controlled fall shut, and I dig it. I dig it a lot. The thumb stud obviously works great for the thumb. Very intuitive, very well done for the thumb deployment, which is what it's designed for. However, guys, I'm telling you, the reverse flick on it is way more fun, and the detent is solid. It's not too light. You can shake it out, but it has to be like, bah! You really have to give it the oomph to be able to do that, so you don't have to worry. I think the D10 is pretty perfect for this particular model because I can do the reverse flick, and it snaps out of there so amazingly. So what are we working with? This is G10 titanium frame lock with 20 CV steel. And so materials-wise, it's standard Hinderer, right? I mean, you know, some of his blades are M390, you know, through exclusives. There were old ones are in S35VN, but for the most part, 20 CV is what you're going to get from Hinderer, and I like that. 20 CV, one of my favorite steels for EDC. This is an EDC style knife. So wonderful, right? Titanium frame lock. Of course, Hinderer, you can get aftermarket parts and all kind of cool stuff. There's your pocket clip that does not seat deep carry, but you have that much sticking out of your pocket. I think is an okay thing, especially for like a work knife for somebody is, you know, I don't believe I have seen any firefighters or EMTs, police officers use deep carry clips because their tools need to be able to come out quick. And that's usually how I like to carry my knives. I don't mind a deep carry pocket clip, but I also don't mind this kind of carry to give me a little bit more purchase to get it out. That's just me. You know, the EDC world thinks differently, and that's cool. That is totally cool. I like them both. I almost prefer it not to have it, though. That depends on the knife. I don't know what I'm talking. I mean, it really does depend on the knife. This one, I think it fits wonderful. So it does still have your typical lock bar stabilizer there, your Hinderer invention, rather. And then your lock bar insert. This thing locks up solid as a rock, because you might think, with this kind of action on a Hinderer, does it have blade play? It doesn't have any blade play at all. And of course, that's what we want. That is what we want. Now, you can get this in quite a few different colors as far as the G10. This is called the Battle Blue. I like blue, but they have some OD green, some like maroon kind of colors. If I was to pick one, I'd probably pick one of those. And then, of course, you have all kinds of aftermarket folks making micarta scales, kind of like I did on the XM18, to just kind of make it your own. Different color of hardware, just like that. I mean, you can really spend your money on a knife and then be like, if you can't find the exact variation that you want, it's okay, especially with Hinderer, because you can make it whatever you want. If you can find your dream configuration, then great, buy it. But if you're waiting on that, I don't really recommend it. Just get a knife and make it your own. That's what Rick Hinderer wants you to do. Yeah, I know a lot of people say, well, by golly, I'll spend more money. You're right. You're right. But I don't mind it. Like on this one, I did buy this on the secondary market. Matter of fact, I bought it from Slicey Dicey. Good man. I love Slicey. Matter of fact, I think it's the second knife I bought from him. So I paid, this is a $425 brand new. I paid $350 for it. Probably $65, I think, for the scale, and then $100 for all the hardware. Not bad in my opinion. You could do the same thing with the Firetac. So that's basically all about Hinderer. More specifically on this knife, the shape. Very slim. A very slim knife compared, which we'll do size comparisons and everything in a minute, to the XM18, XM24, all the other models. I mean, this is pretty much their slimmest model, okay? And a lot of people are going to really love that because it carries like a dream. Even though it's not deep carry in the pocket clip, this thing is so slender, I don't feel it in my pocket. It doesn't weigh a lot. I mean, it's not a bug out, but it doesn't weigh an extensive amount. It's just a really, really good carry. And I think, you know, you can do tip up. Oh, you can't do tip down on this one. Like you can on the XM18. This is only tip up. No, I'm stupid. Don't listen to me. I'm sitting there and I totally missed the damn filler tab. So yes, you can carry it tip up or tip down. Right hand though. So lefties, it's not that bad. Like if I'm doing the reverse flick left-handed, I do this because of lefty ADC. He's tamed me, I guess. But it can happen, but you got to put your finger in the absolute right spot, like maybe on the clip. It's not very comfortable. So lefties out there may not be the one for you because of the titanium frame lock. It's kind of the nature of the beast. Ergonomically, it's a pretty neutral handle compared to the XM18. It's neutral enough where I think whatever your hand size, it's going to work. No finger choil, but I put my finger there, wrap around. As you can see, I've got just a tiny bit of knife sticking out, but it is very, very comfortable. My thumb does go way past the jimping. So the jimping on it, not that it's aggressive like it is on the XM18, but you know, I could come back here to do stabbing tasks if I wanted to, and it does give you a purchase. But as far as the way my hand naturally sits, my thumb sits up here. The blade stock thickness is thick enough to where it's not, whenever I do bear down, it's not poking me. Very nice blade shape on this guy. There's your Hinderer. As you can see, it does have a bit of a recurve. Recurves are not usually my thing. But this is slight enough where I don't think it's very problematic to sharpen. I'm hoping, hey, Jeremy, in the comments, let us know, did you use like rods with this or did you use the stones because of how slight this is? Let us know because I'd like to know as well. But like I said, I mean, recurve's not usually my thing. I think this is slight enough to where it wouldn't give me an issue. Definitely a classic drop point with a flat on the top, flat grind, and it's done well. I mean, it's a Hinderer. So right off the bat, when you put it in your hand, you are feeling quality, you are feeling robustness, even though it's a lot smaller than the other ones. Still has that Hinderer, I guess, tough feel about it. Which is what I was worried about on this model, to be honest. So, now, this isn't the smallest knife they make. This is also from Jeremy. We'll have a review on this. This is the half-track in the Warney blade. This thing was a lot smaller than I thought. But we'll put size comparisons up there in a second. But really, all in all, I dig this thing. The disc, as you can see, is in the cutting path, which if it had thumb studs, it would kind of be the same thing. These are not thumb studs, these are blade stops. So as you can see, they are not in the cutting path. But with this blade, without the choil, you get a pretty good amount of blade. You know, you're looking at about, what did I say? This cutting edge is about 3.5 thousandths. 3.5 thousandths. 3.5 inches of cutting edge. So in this, you know, relatively slender package, you get quite a bit to be able to do what you need to do. I'm liking it. I really didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. And it really has to do with the action. The action being this good. I really like to have an action like this on the knife. And the Hinderer XM18 that I have is good action. It's just not as good. Like, when I play with this one now, I'm kind of disappointed whenever I handle this. It is so much fun to reverse flick. God, I could do this all day, and I did, and it was driving everybody crazy, just like it always does. It does have a very good acoustic sound to it. Even with the G10, sometimes the G10 can kind of mute that. It sounds really good. And then, of course, the D10, or not the on the drop shut, you can't really, let's see if we can do this. Yeah. It's sucking it in, but the blade is just falling right in there. So let's get the camera. Whoop. I almost did it again. The cut test. Jeremy, he messaged me on Instagram. He's like, look, you better do those cut tests on my knives. You know, because sometimes I like to do that, and sometimes I don't with other people's knives. Because, you know, I use them, I cut with them, but my regular EDC task, it's mainly the twisted sisal rope that I don't like to do on other people's knives unless they give me permission. And he made sure to do that. The guy uses his knives way more than I do. And he's got an excellent collection full of, you know, budget all the way to high-end stuff. And I love that about him. I love that he uses his knives and he uses them hard. Of course, he can sharpen the hell out of it too, so it's not that big of a deal to him either. I sharpen. Don't get me wrong, I sharpen. I'm just not near as good as he is. So let's cut something. First, we're going to do the regular cardboard. Oh, yeah. Very slicey through the cardboard, and it is due to that wonderful flat grind. It is still without a thick behind the edge, guys. I mean, it's like, what did I say, 27,000, we'll do specs in a minute, but 27,000 behind the edge is not thin. But your blade stock thickness is only like 140 thousandths. And I think it's even thinner than that. Talking about the paper. Yeah, it's right at 140. He was right. So slicing this through cardboard is really, really nice. If you want a knife that slices through cardboard, there you go. It does it really well. Better than some of the other knives that I have that are thinner behind the edge. Let's see what it does with the paracord. Little resistance, but not much. See if we can do... Did I not leave myself enough room again? I swear. I am not a smart man. Not a smart man at all. All right, kind of double it up here. Oh, yeah. Really, really nice. Now for the test. The twisted sisal rope. Let's do it, guys. The way I'm starting to do this, kind of let you know, starting at the back of the blade, and I am doing a slice and push. Some of the other ones I didn't do that, and so I probably need to go back and do those. So we're going to go slice and push. Boom! Wow, that worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. That cut through it really, really cleanly, and actually really not much resistance. So I think that is the difference. I'm trying to do a push cut and not a push and slice cut for a lot of these. Because if I do a slice push cut, you know, I'm learning here, guys. I'm just recently started doing these cut tests. People seem to enjoy it. And so, yeah, I'm learning as I go, because I don't really pay attention to that. I'm just cutting stuff in my everyday use. But cut test is a success. Love the way this thing cuts. Now let's turn the camera around, get some size comparisons and some closer looks at the Hinderer Firetac. Alrighty, let's get a closer look at this G10. So as you can see, very simple, but it does have some very nice texturing on this portion of the G10 to give you nice grip, nice little cutout for relief to get to that thumb disc. The hardware does sit a little bit proud of the scales. Some people don't like that at all. I really don't find that it hinders me in any way, so I don't mind it at all. It is both, it is actually a hex, or is this a Torx? I'm thinking it's a hex. Hex on both sides. Hold on, let me get a closer look. This looks like a hex. Of course, I haven't messed with it. So minimal hardware, very easy to take apart on this guy. There's a good look at the titanium, which is a very nice stone wash. Really, really cool the way Hinderers do this. See the machine lines in there? I think it just adds a little bit. It has those little machine lining grooves. Just kind of adds a little bit of pop. I love it, I love it, I love it. And yeah, very simple, very basic, but a very capable knife that has great action, and I love it. So how big is it? Okay, so it's not small, but it's not huge. It's definitely a slimmer profile. You have an 8 1/4 inches overall. So kind of right in my wheelhouse as far as a knife I like to carry with a good grip. 3.625 on the blade length with a 3.5 inch cutting edge. You have a blade width of about 0.875. So relatively thin blade. And with that flat grind, that's why it gets to only about 27 thousandths behind the edge, because you don't have a lot of room there to drop on that grind. But as you saw in the cut test, it cuts amazingly anyway. It's like I said, 20 CV. You have a 4.625 handle with a handle width of about 1 inch. So still very, very slim. How much does it weigh? Well, let's find out. Also going to compare the weight to the XM18 so you will know what you're getting if you're trying to decide. 4.15 ounces, all day, every day. That is an amazing weight for an 8 1/4 inch knife. Come on. What is it against the XM18? 5.25. Definitely smaller and lighter. So if you're looking for that and you're still wanting an amazing American-made product, there you go. Let's give it a size comparison on some other models, shall we? We've already kind of seen it against the Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch, but as you can see, as far as overall length, they are pretty damn similar. Boom. Pretty similar. Maybe the Firetac has it by just a tad, but not much. What about another staple? What about the PM2? Still very, very similar. Definitely a thinner blade profile and thinner in the pocket due to the big hump of where the Spidey hole is on the Spyderco. What about against another Hinderer, the little guy I was talking about, the half track? This will give you an idea about both of these knives, the half track and the Firetac. So definitely dwarfs the the half track. This thing is so much smaller than I thought it was. Look at the little baby. Just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like against a Hinderer XM24. This is the Strider. This is the Strider SMF, which is about the same size as an XM24. So there you go. Nice comparison there. So it is going to be definitely smaller than the XM24. Oh, I think it's a great size and a very mind-opening knife for me. Never in a million years would I think that if I got this on the channel that I would enjoy it. And I definitely have. Like, I just enjoyed the hell out of carrying this knife because of this wonderful action that I never knew it had. The ability to do that is so much fun. Almost, maybe even more so fun than thumb studs. Because, you know, I like thumb studs more than I do a flipper because I can usually do the reverse flick. Like the reverse flick on the XM18 took me a while because these are not really thumb studs. These are blade stops, but you can still use them as that. And I am finally able to do the reverse flick on this guy, but it took a while to break in for me to be able to do that. This guy, not at all. Of course, I did not get it brand new out of the box. This is definitely a used knife, but the action is amazing. Guys, that is all I have to say about this wonderful, wonderful knife variant from Hinderer Knives. Definitely go check out Hinderer Knives. It is one of the American brands that I highly recommend to everyone who is looking in this price range. It is about $425, which is about the same you will pay for the XM18. So the secondary market is usually pretty good with the XM18. I am not sure what it is like with the Firetac, but I'm assuming it's the same. It really depends on availability. There's probably a ton more of these knives out there than there are the Firetac, but you know, is it worth that money? You could debate that all day long. From a guy like Rick Hinderer, I would pay that all day, every day, because it is a well reputable American manufacturer that has just stood the test of time as far as their designs, the manufacturing, the quality. So yes, I trust Hinderer Knives, and I would pay that price. However, I would probably try to get one on the secondary market for a little cheaper if I could, like everybody. But yeah, I do think it's worth it. I would definitely change the scale color, maybe even try to find some aftermarket micarta. I think would look sick on this dude. They do have DLC coating and whatnot for their blades, so I'm not sure what the price difference there is, but yeah, I can totally recommend this knife. If you're looking at it, you know, if this style suits you, I would go for it. Will I have one of these in the collection? I don't know. Because I got rid of my XM24. Maybe I need another Hinderer around, right? This could be it. I thought about doing the full track instead of the half track, but the full track, I cannot do this. And I have to be able to reverse flick my knives. So that kind of went away, and I know I can do it with this one. Might happen. Guys, I love you all. Stay safe in this freaking crazy world that we are living in. Go check out Jeremy. Links down below. And we will see you in the next one.